Welcome to JTN's presentation of the Pocono 200 race recap. We're going to show you all the highlights from the race and we'll get right into it here on lap 1. You're going to see the initial lap from the start of the race. Trey Coleman leading us down to the green flag here. 19 drivers on track, everyone from the playoffs, plus 3 additional guys. You'll see a couple cars towards the bottom of the racing surface. That's Andrew Miller and John Foreman taking it really easy here to start out this event. You kind of see the guys, they fan out. You see Darren Ingram there making it almost looks like 3 wide, but it was probably only 2 as Trey Coleman's going to snatch away the lead or continue to maintain that lead after starting on pole coming off turn 1. And down this Long Pond straightaway all night we saw a lot of great action. You could really set up passes going into the tunnel turn here, but with it being lap 1, everyone was really conservative here to start this race out. So Trey Coleman had a lot of trouble through the tunnel turn. He thought he was pretty slow through there throughout the night. A lot of guys were able to gain some time on him in that portion of the track. And here you see the drivers going through turn 3 as they're going to come back to complete lap 1. But a caution flag is out. You see a lot of the field suddenly missing. See Tommy Bordeaux giving them a little space as they're going to slow down. What's that caution for? None other than the 12 Ford Mustang of Sean Whitehill. The Cheese at Menard's machine just gets up out of the groove, spins around, collects everybody over half the field, but since the series already restarted the race once, they weren't allowed to restart it again. Here's an onboard with the 47 Loctite machine of Andrew Miller. You see, you're going to see it up ahead. You're going to see all of a sudden just everyone starts checking up, a little bit of smoke. He goes high to avoid the 21, gets in the wall, and just runs me over in that 2 car. Yes, I did participate in last night's event. There you see Bristol on the side of that machine from our JTN Skycam. You see Sean Whitehill just, again, kind of showing that point. You get a little too high, and it just gets a little too loose on you. Just a lot of hard impacts there. You see the 24 making another impact with the 14. Darren Ingram had a really rough night. We'll go on board with his visor cam that we had on the 24 Exalta machine and driver. He just runs into the back of the 14, just nowhere to go. Just all, the sudden crash, flippity flop. He's over and up on his roof and just hits the 14. That really ended the day for the 24 car before the race even started. A tough break for one of our playoff drivers. Then on lap 5, we saw another tough break for 2 more playoff drivers. Jeff Dixon, you're going to see him in here in turn 3. He does the same thing that Whitehill does, gets up into the wall a little bit, spins it around, and bam, here I come, just finishing the job that the wall didn't do. Tough break for Dixon, who had a really strong car, but thankfully enough, there was no motor damage on that machine. On lap 10, we had a scary moment going through the tunnel with one of our driver profiles for the night, Joseph Weaver, driver of the number 10 Activision machine. You're going to see he's going to get really loose. Him and Randall Coleman here off the corner. Gets really high, really loose. They don't wreck it down there. Weaver in the grass a little bit. But a big moment there is going to lead to another big moment down here in turn 3. Watch the 9 car just out of your picture. You're going to see him. He goes around, same thing. Little loose patch up closer to the wall. That caused a big crash. You saw the 14 of Cody Luke plow into the back of the 9, and here you'll see it again from our cameras. Randall Coleman just gets high and it goes around on him. Really tough break there for the 9 machine. Driver of the 9 switch Chevy, and then Cody Luke just comes in and finishes the job. Knocks that 9 car off the pace for the rest of the event. We had another incident on lap 22. If you're not catching a commonality so far, here on lap 22 it's going to be yours truly, driver of the number 2 Nutrichomp's Ford Mustang for your Team Twansky. Just again got up too high and loose stuff, and the car went around on me. Luckily enough, though, no contact made. No one else's night was ruined due to my lack of driving skills. We move on to lap 40. We had a couple green flag pit stops. The 94 Colby Martin's coming off pit road. You'll barely see it here. You see him there on the right of your screen coming into picture. Maybe hurt the entry of the 16 of Garrett Sidner. Sidner also probably could have maybe cut it off a little bit, and then he hits the wall coming on the exit of the corner and just ruins the car, but we'll have more on that to come later in this recap. Just a really tough break for the Crunchyroll Ford Mustang. On board with the White Castle visor cam of Colby Martin. You're just going to see the 16, he goes around, and then watch that rear view mirror, barely misses that 16 coming back up the track. Lap 52, our second to last caution. You're going to see the 48 of Zach Krastowski has to check up because of the 2 car. 2 car gets a little loose going into the tunnel. The 48 checks up, but watch the 47. He's going to make contact, run into the rear quarter panel of the 48, and that sends him into the wall. Heavy damage to that 48 machine, and that would also cause the 47 to Andrew Miller to retire due to causing 2 incidents during the race. You'll see it again here from his onboard. Just runs into the 48, didn't check up. Don't know if the spotter didn't get on the radio soon enough, but that would set us up for what would be a very exciting final lap. 1 lap remaining. We're going to go back green flag racing, and we're going to take you through it here. Trey Coleman and Brandon Hawken on the front row here to bring it back. Green flags in the air. We're back underway racing here at Pocono. As you see all the drivers getting up to speed, you're going to see a lot of jostling around, and there goes the 2 and the 12. 2 spun around on his roof, flipping over in the back. We're going to continue with your battle for the lead because they're racing back to the line here in the Fast Racing League. Trey Coleman, your leader, followed by Brandon Hawken, and it looks like the 88 of Corbin Huffman. You see him coming down the long pond straightaway. 99 and 1 car side by side going into the tunnel. That's going to be really tricky. No one's going to give. You see the 1's going to get really high, and that's going to barely hit the wall. Big moment for the 57. There's another incident off the screen out of the tunnel, but Brandon Hawken's going to bring it through turn 3 after suffering damage in the lap 1 incident. Tommy Bordeaux moving into 3rd. Trey Coleman going to finish 2nd here. Tough break for him and his team, but Brandon Hawken wins the first playoff race at Pocono. There you see your top 4, and we said we'd mention him again. There's Garrett Sidner in that 16 Crunchyroll machine. Does a great job. Brings it home 5th after avoiding all the calamity on the last lap. Now here's that caution that we saw on the front straightaway. Gonna try to hold back a little bit of what I say just because I'm the driver of that 2 car, and I was none too pleased with. If you watch the 42 of Cam Barnes, he squeezes in between the 70 and me. That sends me around, collects my teammate, my car. Then Randall Coleman nowhere to go, and then it was a dizzying ride. Had to record all this audio the next day because I was really dizzy last night after the race. Really angry. Definitely not something you wanted to see. Leaders pitting there when they didn't even know we were going back green. Here's that incident I told you about off the tunnel. You see Michael Murata up there in the wall, and you're going to also see the 42 of Cam Barnes again. He goes to the outside 3 wide. He can't make up any positions racing like that, and just a hard lick for the 21. You saw the 94 with a hard lick. So speaking of that 42 of Cam Barnes, we got an on board with him, so we're going to go on board with Cam for the entire last lap here on the restart. He's going to get up through the gears really well. He probably came down, put some tape on. He's laying back a little bit on the restart, but he gets a great launch. And you're going to see here from his roof cam, he's going to be barely clear, just runs to the back of the 2, takes out the 2, takes out the 12, takes out a lot of guys behind him just because there was all of a sudden nowhere to go. You're going to see he's going to get a great run on these guys in front of him, though. He's going to pass the 10, coming off a 2. Down the long pond straightaway, you see the 94 and the 21 side by side. That's a battle for 5th position. And again, every position means so much. Here, we lost the camera signal for a little bit. Through the tunnel turn, Cam's going to really launch it in there. Almost hits the 22, but checks up a little bit. You're going to see the 94 is going to make a little. Off screen, is going to make contact with the 22. Barnes to the outside, makes contact with the 21, sends the 21 around. The 94 is around. But Barnes is going to be able to keep going, finishing this race, even though he couldn't gain any positions. A little dumbfounded for some of the Fast Racing League drivers. I'm sure he'd like to comment on that, and I implore him to do so. But he's going to bring it home. He's going to get it across the line. I believe he's credited with 6th place on the initial start, but he was moved back to the end of the lead lap for causing the first incident. And here's the onboard. This is a really tough hit for Colby Martin with this White Castle visor cam. You're going to see he's going to hit the 22. The 22 is going to get knocked into the grass. Ryan keeps it straight for the most part, but then here you're going to just see sent around like a helicopter. Really tough lick for the 94 driver. He got right out of the car and sent to the infield care centers. We'll now go on to our driver interviews. And first up tonight, we're going to be able to get our 6th placed finisher, Mr. Joseph Weaver, making his 2nd consecutive start in the Cup Series, I believe. Driver of the number 10 Activision Toyota Camry for Radlad Racing. Welcome to the booth, Mr. Weaver.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Now, the main reason we got you up here in the booth is you're known for having a unique perspective on things, and we just wanted to get your take on what that the last lap shenanigans were out there on the track.
Well, I gotta say, it was honestly one of the most spectacular one-lap shootouts I've ever seen in my racing here. We start off fine, and we're getting going down the front straight, and I look in my mirror, and I see the side of Sean Whitehill's car. I'm not supposed to be seeing the side of Sean Whitehill's car going down the straightaway, so I'm obviously concerned. But all's good, and we're going through the track. We get through turn 2, and there's a little contact between Colby and Ryan gets shoved down, and Cam Barnes comes up my inside and goes up into a gap up there in the wall, and then Mikey goes up. Some residual contact from Colby getting into Ryan. There was a big mess there before Cam, got into that, and then it was like a bomb went off. Mikey gets turned into the wall. He clips Colby. He's innocent bystander, just goes right into the safer barrier. I thought he came a helicopter.
Now, I don't want to just hear what you said, your thoughts about that last lap was. What was it like to get back behind the wheel of that Ted machine? You made some sparse starts throughout the season. To get back behind the wheel at such a tricky track, what did it mean for you and the team?
Well, Pocono's been one of my favorite tracks for a long time. Maybe not so much to race, but just a fun track to drive. So I felt like tonight was a good night to get back in the car, make a surprise start, and see what I could do.
And you did really well tonight. You had a great run. Anyone you want to thank?
I just want to thank all the boys back at the shop at Rad Lad Racing. Joey sticking around, doing some late night work on the car, getting it ready for the surprise appearance.
All right, and that was Mr. Joseph Weaver, driver of the number 10 Activision Toyota Camry for Rad Lad Racing. We'd like to thank him and his crew for letting us interview him, and we'll be going on to our podium interviews here on JTN. All right, live with you guys, or not live, but at post race here at the JTN booth, we've got Mr. Brandon Hawkin, driver of the number 99 Burrell ART. I said it right this time. Toyota Camry for Prime Time Racing. Welcome to the booth, Brandon, and congratulations on your win, locking yourself into the second round of the playoffs.
Thanks so much, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd like to act like it's a shock that you won. You won 8 out of the 9 races you entered to start the season for the regular season. Come out, win this week. What does that do for you and your team heading into New Jersey next week, where you got to make a start, but now you can kind of just go for those playoff points?
Yeah, it's definitely a relief for sure because New Jersey isn't my best track, so yeah, it's been a really great season so far. So hopefully we'll just try to continue to bring out some good finishes and going.
And we saw on that last restart, there was a lot of chatter on most team radios about, oh, we can't go green, oh, we should go green. What was going through your mind behind the wheel of that 99 when you saw that those pace car lights went off?
I was pretty nervous because I didn't think we were going back green. I know it was going to be a call, but I guess since it wasn't counting the lap cars anymore, the lights went out. So yeah, that was pretty scary once I saw the lights go out. And but luckily we had a few cars like Tommy, Trey, Corbin, I think as well, who all stayed out. There was a nice buffer between them and the cars that pitted, so I was a little bit relieved about that. But coming to the last lap, that was nuts.
Yeah, you talk about just maybe some of the nerves. A lot of guys don't think you got any nerves. You got nerves of steel, some would say. You're out here, you're winning, you're dominating races. Tonight was not the case, though, after an early incident.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thought I thought I was in quite a bit of trouble there on the first lap. I got a decent amount of damage, but not like after the repairs. It was actually surprisingly good. I think I was only about a mile an hour off. Like I'd be a little bit bad if I didn't have the draft, but in the draft I was okay. So, it was a really hard fought battle, and that that battle at the end with Trey, Corbin, and Tommy, I think Cam too. That was insane.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't Cam that was up there. Just like to a little sour for all the folks at home. I'm a little sour, but uh, with that in the past, I'm going to keep my journalistic integrity here. Brandon, anyone you want to thank?
I'd just like to thank everybody at PTR. Like we been been with them for over 5 years now. So yeah, it's been a great ride with them, and everybody at Fast, Randall, you Joe for the commentary, and just everybody that races at Fast. It's a great group of guys, and just really happy to be here.
And thank you for sure, as we got little notifications going on. Hopefully you didn't hear that. Anyways, thank you, Brandon, for joining us tonight. Congratulations on the win. And, we look forward to seeing you next week at New Jersey, but Road American Talladega for round 2. We're really excited to see how that round goes. So good luck throughout the rest of the playoffs if we don't see you again, but I have a really good feeling we probably will.
Oh yeah, you will for sure. Thanks, Joe.
And that was Brandon Hawk and driver the number 99. Burrell ART Toyota Camry. That we'd like to thank Brandon for taking a quick minute to talk with us up here in the booth. And we'll go on to our next driver. Alright, up in the JTN booth now after the race. I'm here with Mr. Trey Coleman, driver of the number 1 Production Alliance Group Chevrolet Camaro ZL1LE for Demario Chambers Racing. Welcome to the booth, Trey, and congratulations on your second place finish.
Thank you so much, Joe. Pleasure to be here.
Now, tonight, you and that one team, you had such a strong car, qualified on pole, finished second to Brandon. What could you guys have done maybe a little better to get that W and move on to the next round?
So the number 1 Production Alliance Group Chevrolet Camaro was really fast. In the short run, I was able to stay ahead of a lot of these guys. But I really wasn't able to get into turn 3 like some of these other cars. They were getting huge runs off, like the 88 of Corbin Huffman, and the 99 of Brandon Hawken had amazing runs through that tunnel turn. But I'm really proud of the team for setting it up. Obviously, Production Alliance Group, Haas CNC, Demario Chambers Racing, the Black Lives Matter movement, of course, supporting those who are being faced with racial injustice. I really think if we could have gotten some better runs off the corners and maybe saved our tires a little bit better, I think the number 1 machine could have been up there battling for the win at the end. When we got into turn 1 there and my car pushed up, I knew I had no chance of holding Brandon Hawken off. So it was a great win, 99. Oh, good run.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that. We had a really unique scenario at the end of the race, a 1-lap shootout. You had a caution in your rearview mirror. What has to go through your mind to kind of block that out? Because you top 4, you guys were all racing for that win.
Well, I really didn't want to see a 1-lap shootout there, if I'm being 100% honest. But really just staying focused, making sure that I know I had a better jump than Brandon on the restart, but I really think I let it get to my head when I had that huge run out there and I had the 88 on my bumper. I think that's a little bit what caused me to push up and won there.
Yeah, for sure. And before we let you go, again, congratulations on the second place finish. You already mentioned a bunch of your sponsors, but anyone else you want to thank before we let you go?
Well, I'd like to thank my dad and my mom for letting me race. I'd like to thank Daniel's Amigos, Daniel Suarez's fan club. I'd like to thank Haas CNC, as well as Randall Coleman, Revolution Motorsports, Mario Chambers at DCR, and Ryan Pace as well.
Yeah, and again, congratulations on your win, or on the second place finish, and good luck next week in New Jersey. I know you wanted it to be a win, but hey, there's always next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Good luck to you as well.
Thanks. And we're here, post-race interview with Mr. Tommy Bordeaux, fellow JTN commentator and driver of the number 57 TWB Technologies, TWB.com, Toyota Camry for primetime racing. Welcome up into the booth, Tommy.
Oh, thanks for having me, Joe. Nice to do this and put on a little something special here for the chase.
Yeah, and we had a really crazy race tonight, the Tricky Triangle. All on your radio throughout the race, we kept hearing what turn 4 is your crew chiefs and spotters, and it was a crazy night, because they were definitely getting a workout up there on top of the spotter stand.
Well, they certainly were. We came here for practice, and we had set up the car for 4 turns, and we got to the track and we noticed the turn 4 wasn't there, and that kind of changed our strategy for how we were going to run the race tonight. But boy, I'll tell you what, we had a good one. We stayed up all day long. We were up at the front with that TWB.com Toyota Camry, and I'll tell you what, Joe. Boy, that was a great race for us to finish third. That's going to give us a lot of momentum into the next race and sit in a great position for points.
Yeah, you talk about a great position for points. You kind of, when we run these playoff chase races, whatever you want to call them, you always are looking at the other guys you're competing for in the playoffs, because every position is a point. So what does it mean to have, you got 6 to 8 drivers now between you and the cutoff line?
Yeah, it's really good insurance. I mean, especially heading into second round. I feel like the two tracks there, Talladega and Road America, two tracks that I think could go either way, but certainly with Road America, I think we're poised for a good finish there. So if I can at least make it to that second round, that's going to be a huge deal, and give us a real shot at making the final four. So to get past this first one is very important with the number of drivers that are in it. And now that we're in a good position, we can approach New Jersey, looking to make that second round a lot easier instead of coming from behind.
And, you got that gap now. You got the gap. You can go to New Jersey maybe a little more relaxed than you were this week at Pocono. But tonight, you guys just had you said you weren't prepared for only having 3 turns, and I completely get that. It was my understanding that there were 5 turns tonight. So, whatever sorcery was done to the track before we got here. But um, how do the lessons learned tonight, maybe about other drivers, their driving styles, that you learned from them being in the playoffs, competing against you at a higher level, at a more intense level, how do you use those lessons next week at New Jersey to make sure you move on to round 2?
Well, the one thing I saw, Joe, from the rearview mirror, the TWB Camry, was a lot of wrecks tonight. You had a lot of guys getting each other, a lot of yellers. First half of the race, that really played into our favor, with that kind of setup change that we were not expecting. We didn't have a great long run vehicle tonight, so short runs really helped us out. So, but really, what I took away was the place I want to be is up front. I don't want to fall back and lose track position, because that could really result in us being in danger. And staying up front all night really kept us out of it, and we came away with a great finish because of it.
Yeah, and anyone you want to thank, Tommy?
Sure, absolutely. Got to thank the boys at the shop for putting together a good setup and to change things on the whim here at the track. Big shout out to TWB Technologies, TWB.com. Great company, great services. You know the rest. And obviously to my teammate Brandon Hawken there for winning the race. PTR looks strong this year. And to you for conducting these interviews.
Yeah, and thank you again for all the help that you do with us at JTN on Tuesday nights, and we look forward to having you in the booth again in the coming weeks. This was Mr. Tommy Bordeaux, driver, the number 57 TWB Technologies Toyota Camry. Thank you so much, Tommy, for joining us. I would like to take the moment to thank everybody for tuning in, for watching our race recap. We hope to bring you guys more of this content throughout the fast playoffs. Congratulations again to Brandon Hawken for winning, Trey Coleman for a podium, as well as Tommy Bordeaux. Great race for a lot of these guys. We had a lot of great action throughout the race, and if you want to join, there's a link down in the description. You can go to the simulation, the SMS page as we call it, to sign up for the Fast Racing League. I implore you to do so. It's a great league to run in. There's different series. Tuesday nights are fixed setup. Wednesday nights are open setup. So if you want to dip your feet in it, Tuesday nights is definitely the way to go, where you'll be broadcast live by JTN and myself, Joe Towanski. Also, go ahead and check out our Facebook page. Give us a like over there. Like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. I always run over my words a little bit too much here, but if you haven't guessed that, or if you haven't figured that out by now, I don't know what else to tell you. Anyways, thank you to all the drivers that participated in post-race interviews after the race. I really appreciate that. It helps give us a little bit more realism, and we hope to see you guys Tuesday night when the Fast Racing League's Mountain Dew Dash Series goes to the Kentucky Speedway for what should be an exhilarating race. My name is Joe Twansky, and for everyone here at JTN, thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, and we hope to see you Tuesday night, and if not, we hope to see you next week when we give you the New Jersey recap and tell you who is moving on to the next round of the playoffs. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you then.